This Supreme Court decision is kind of complicated, so I'm going to just give you the Reader's Digest version of the facts. A few years ago, this man, Zaki Rahimi, was charged with domestic violence against his significant other. He threatened to use a pew-pew on her, and he's been known to fire those same pew-pews at restaurants and other public places. So because he threatened his girlfriend, she went out and put a restraining order on him to say, hey, he can't have pew-pews anymore because he's threatened me with it. She based this on a 1994 law that says anybody who's been accused of domestic violence does not get to own or possess a pew-pew. I'm too grown to be saying pew-pew, but I gotta say it to keep the video up. And they agreed. Well, Zaki Rahimi did not agree with that, and he kept fighting it, and it ended up at the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court was to decide whether or not the Second Amendment was sacrosanct, meaning because the Second Amendment says that law cannot be or shall not be infringed, that he can possess whatever he wants, no matter what his crime is, because the Second Amendment should not be infringed. And his victim's argument was, no, we should put parameters on the Second Amendment for violent people such as him who will threaten people and shoot at people in public places. You would think this would be a unanimous decision to say, yep, we gotta use common sense, one of the words they use in the opinion, to justify what we're about to rule on. A violent person should not obtain or possess or have access to that violent weapon. It wasn't unanimous. Whom do you think was the one person that sided with Zaki Rahimi? It's in an 8-1 decision where conservative justices and liberal justices all agreed that a violent person, a person that's been accused of domestic violence, should not have access or be able to purchase or obtain a firearm. The only person on the Supreme Court that said he could obtain it was, and being that Justice Clarence Thomas is bought and paid for by conservative-leaning groups and the NRA, you can kind of see why he sided with the guy with the firearm. And the fact that most conservative men don't care about women and women's rights, it's okay to threaten her with the firearm, I guess. What do you think?